welcome everyone. Welcome to my little corner of LlewellynCon 2022. I am so excited to see people here, and thank you for joining today. And I don't know if you've joined other sessions, but I have, and it's been amazing. So thank you to Llewellyn A for having me and for putting on this con. I really enjoy doing these kinds of things from home. So thank you and welcome to everyone. I'm Lisa Wagoner, and I have written a book called Positive Pagan, Staying Upbeat in an Offbeat World. And it was recently published by Llewellyn, and just had my launch party yesterday. So I'm slightly, I don't know what I was thinking doing this the next day, but thank you for being here with me. I see all of you on the chat, so hello. I am going to keep questions till the end, if that's okay. I will not be having a PowerPoint. I'm not that technologically advanced yet, but I figured it's a Sunday, it's Father's Day, so happy Father's Day to everyone, dads, father figures, moms who did both. Really grateful for all of you, and we see you when we love you. So thank you for being here. And if you see it later and it's recorded, thank you also for taking the time to do this, because this literally is one of my favorite subjects. So I'm very excited to be here. So what I figured I would do, we'd start like having a container for this session to talk about toxic positivity versus positive paganism. So I want you to make sure you have a beverage. Thank you to Llewellyn for this really cool cup that they sent me. And I want you to make sure you have a beverage because it's usually brunch time on a Sunday afternoon. I want to make sure that you're comfortable. And we are going to take 3 deep breaths together. So make sure your feet are flat on the ground and do this with me. And the first breath that I want you to do with me is to imagine that you're walking barefoot on the grass, roots are growing from your feet, because this first breath is grounding and we all need that. So 1 deep breath and blow it all out. The second breath is for centering. So make sure you feel like there's a light going through your body. Put your hand on your heart, whatever's comfortable to you to get you centered. And take another deep breath and blow it out. And then the third deep breath, we're in this bubble together virtually, but I want you to all feel comfortable within this bubble. So whatever it is, whether it's white light, rainbow disco balls for Pride Month, whatever you want, make sure you're contained in this bubble with us presently. And take your third deep breath. And blow it all out. So thank you so much for being here. Some of you have kindly said hello and that you read the book. So thank you so much. I have said from the beginning, this is me in book form. And the reason this is one of my favorite subjects is because positivity can be seen as a negative thing. And we get that, right? Because I've heard this since childhood. Positivity, it's you're naive, you're unworldly, you're not aware of all the horrible things in the world. And I argue with that because we are aware. And I think, honestly, positive paganism is very well-rounded. And I will discuss that in my little talk. And like I said, the last 10 minutes we'll leave open for questions. So if you need me to clarify or anything, just take some notes and ask me at the end, okay? And we will know when it's the last 10 minutes. So let me begin with the beginning of this book. So what happened was I write a blog for Pathos called Witch Indeed, and it's all about my adventures here in Western North Carolina and, my magical life, all kinds of things. I work in a metaphysical shop, and I noticed that the pagan community, like so many others, they were being negative and just, grouchy, cranky, the drill. And we can be. And I wrote a blog called Being a Positive Pagan in a Dark World. And that blog had such a huge response that I still get messages about it to this day. And it almost is like people feel like you can't be positive outwardly because of the negative connotation. Another thing I usually hear, it's like, well, it seems Pollyanna-ish. But, I sort of reviewed what Pollyanna was about. And, that girl went through a lot. So there is darkness. There are bad things that happen. We do not negate that as positive pagans. So I'm going to go through the differences right now, things that I've noticed. If I forget something, if there's something you want to discuss, again, keep it towards the end. So the first one to me is toxic positivity is a lot of what I call pithy sayings. Now, I am all here for a good meme. I am here for a good fortune cookie. To me, they are like guideposts, like, okay, perspective. Toxic positivity is just do this one thing and your life will miraculously change. Just smile, just, go through it. And there is more to that than just a saying. To me, it's a very incomplete saying. And I'll give you an example. So in a lot of self-help books, they'll tell you, make your bed. And that sounds like an easy thing. Why don't you make your bed? Well, I'm the kind of person. Why would you make your bed? You're just going to go sleep in it later. Until I realized that once you make your bed, A, it's one action that you're doing. And then two, you're changing the energy in that bedroom. So by the time you go to sleep at night, it feels different. Now, if you want to continue not making your bed, that's fine too. But like I said, it's an incomplete sentence. So a lot of times they'll just say this one quick pithy thing, like you just need to be positive and things will happen. Well, no, we're not light switches. We can't just turn on positivity. And the beautiful thing about being a positive pagan is that we turn the mundane into magical. And we are tools for, changing things. We use emotions. Emotions are not bad things. A lot of times when you say something like just be positive or just smile, you are invalidating a person's experience. And that's not okay. Not at all. There is, especially when you're in that moment. And I have it myself. I have anxiety. I suffer from seasonal affective disorder. I can go down some very negative mental spirals. So this book came about because I have a lot of tools that I use, magical tools, to get me out of that spiral and get me moving. So for example, I do include make your bed, but I do explain why. And the reason I just explained to you is about changing the energy in your room. So that's one thing you can do. I firmly believe as a positive pagan, you do one action, it leads to another action. And pretty soon you can start moving to what you want, the kind of life that you want to build. Sayings and just being positive are not going to get you to what you want, whether it's a relationship, a different job. You all realize that there's tools. Now, I myself, I need to apply this to exercise. I have not done so yet. That is the uncharted territory for me. But for everything else, I know what it's like to have bad days. I know what it's like to not want to get out of bed. So these are tools that I learned throughout my life, a form of folk magic from when I grew up, just actions I discovered on my own, the self-help books I read, endless self-help books, that I just sort of turned and added a magical component. So yes, on grieving, yes, absolutely. I do see that. Thank you. Thank you so much. And I have myself suffered a lot of loss. My younger son faced death like 3 times before he turned 25. I have been I experienced suicide in my immediate family. I had in a very emotionally abusive childhood. So there's a lot of things. I am very well aware of the darkness in the world. And that's on top of family members who lived through World War II in Germany. So I grew up with the war being told over and over again. It felt like I lived it. And there was a part of me that rebelled. So to me, positive paganism is taking that positivity and using it as an energy source to keep you going. In my book, I call it an ember. I feel like all of us have it. And especially I noticed the people that responded to my blog, we're survivors. We have been through some things. And yet there's something in us that keeps us positive and looking forward and keeps us moving forward. We've learned how to survive. I call it an ember. And I tap into it so that I can get some things done. Otherwise, I would never leave my bed. And it's hard. It is really hard to be a human. And I don't want to negate that by any stretch. I don't know if you know Gloria Vanderbilt, Anderson Cooper's mom. I saw her in a documentary once, and she called it a diamond. There was a diamond in her that she accessed to keep her moving. And I think we all agree she had a really hard life with lots and lots of tragedies and bad things happening. And yes, she had a lot of money, but she had a lot of horrible things that happened to her. So I just want to point that out. So there's a lot of positive pagan saying, not positive, toxic positivity sayings that they're hard. And like good vibes only. Well, it's not good vibes only. I was really adamant about like the book cover. This is not all about the book, by the way, but the book cover has the sun and the moon because life is never completely dark, but it's also not completely sunny. So that's why this was really important to me as a person. It's like, yes, we acknowledge the dark, and just like emotions, we use that darkness to process our emotions so that they're not stagnant. So think about a child. A child, will pitch a fit, throw themselves on the floor, and then 2 seconds later will be playing, right? That's what we should be doing. But a lot of times things get stuck and they get stagnant. And so there are things that we can do that can move us forward for doing things like that. So some of the things we can do as a positive pagan. So for example, like if you're with someone and they're grieving or they're going through something horrible, don't just tell them it happened for a reason. That's don't like that one, or it is what it is. Yes, we're aware it is what it is. It's the present moment. But things you can do is just be there and listen. To listen, and don't listen to respond. Just listen. I have a whole section in the book as well of listening. A lot of times I didn't even realize. I always thought I was a great listener. I'm not. I usually listened to respond, and I learned a way to listen where what you do is you listen to what the person says, do not interrupt them, and then say it back to them. And so what I heard you saying was so that they feel validated. That's so important as humans, that we are validated. And that is a core component of positive paganism. We validate people's experiences, that yes, life is hard and we have to move through things. And then at the end, you say, like you were talking about this situation, and this is how I felt. I've been through something similar, so that this person doesn't feel alone. And so that leads me to another part of positive paganism is community. So we're here in a community right now. I know a lot of people have the mindset of like, well, we have to be in person. I think, living through a pandemic, that has been really challenging. So I really look forward to this. This is a way for me to talk to you, online. This is so cool. You can join groups. I know social media can be a bane, take breaks from it, but there are groups that you can join, friendships that you can form. When I was a kid, I had a ton of pen pals. I don't know what I wrote about. My life wasn't that exciting, but I had a ton of pen pals. I had friends all over the world. And that's something I continue to this day because I was genuinely interested in other people. And I think that is also the difference between toxic positivity. That person usually is not interested in what you have to say. They're just busy, trying to avoid putting blinders on and avoiding all the negative stuff that happens. So, sometimes to get out of that negative spiral or feeling bad is to think of others. What I do myself, like in the mornings, I make sure I feed the birds. That just gets me out of my head. I do something good for the environment. I get to see all the birds outside my office window, and it just gets me out of that headspace and keeps me moving, and then I can move through the day. So those are some things you can do as magical people. Whatever you practice, you can offer to clear space. I mean, think about it. A lot of times our space can be negative. It could be objects that we have, especially if we love thrifting. We forget to cleanse them or clear them. And if you have a lot of those things, think about it. It's all those people's energies and experiences with those objects. Make sure that you always clean and clear your space. And you could do that very simply. You could do it by clapping. You can do it by ringing a bell. You can use herb wands, Florida water. We're magical, we know. If not, there's ideas in the book or other books that you can read. That is really important. Other things we can do for people, we can light a candle. That is such a powerful, powerful thing that people don't realize, because you are lighting a candle and you're sending energy towards them, that you're feeling of empathy and understanding, you're lighting it for them. If you do energy work, always with their permission, of course, you do energy work to help them clear those emotions out as well. So the other things you can do, let's see what else we got here. Well, I've already mentioned we turn the mundane into magical. So I have a really hard time in the morning. I am not a morning person. Everybody can attest to that. So what I do is I just have the mindset of turning whatever I do in the morning, because I'm sort of like a robot, and I do it magically. So for example, like in my coffee, I stir collagen in it, try to do things for my hair, and I will stir it 3, 6, 9 times. And that just puts me in the mindset. And the other part of being a positive pagan is very mindful, intentional living. So all the, just do this and this will be okay, it's incomplete. It's an incomplete sentence. You don't really get to you need to finish that sentence with some sort of action, because my firm belief is action makes you feel better. It really does. It's just doing that one thing. And you heard that. Like I said, I'm still struggling with exercise, but you've heard that. You just do that one thing and you keep moving. And if you don't do anything else that day, that's fine. Be gentle and kind with yourself and move onward to another thing. The other thing you can do as a positive pagan, and to me, I write this in my introduction. So whatever you practice spiritually, I have like no judgment, no opinion. You practice what feels comfortable for you. I respect that. But I think the thread of commonality that we all have is a respect for nature. So if you can take your friend out for a walk, or, on a hike, or just, visit a local lake. I grew up in New York City, so I spent a lot of time in Washington Square Park, in Central Park. There are pockets of nature no matter where you live, whether it's the desert, the ocean, the mountains. Be aware of the state parks around you. And really, that's a really good thing you can do for yourself and also for your friends. So let's see what else. Yeah, the thing about toxic positivity, I know there's like whole books written on this like positive stuff, but to me, it's just like something that you do on a daily basis. And I think as pagans and as magical people, for us, it's a way of life. It also gives us, we have perspective. I can see a lot of you have been saying that you have been through some things, right? And so that gives us perspective. Some of you, I don't know if you've done some shadow work. Shadow work is really important. And if you're not familiar with that term, I'll give you like a little story to help you understand. So for example, I prided myself on never being a jealous person. Oh no, I'm not jealous. I'm not competitive. And then I was in a relationship with someone. Oh dear God, I never experienced that before, but I did have jealousy. I had to sit with that because jealousy is not great. It doesn't do any good. Drives me crazy. And it's not worth keeping that contained in my body. You want your body constantly flowing. And when you're in the flow of positivity, it feels like that. For me, it is a waterfall that I tap into so I can get some things done and manifest and do spell work and all kinds of things. So I sat with myself and did shadow work and just really faced myself. And I was like, well, okay, you are jealous. You are having these really negative feelings. It is affecting your relationship. You are saying and doing things that are not normally what you do. So I had to really sit with that and work through it. Have I conquered jealousy? Probably not. I haven't. I think I did a lot of really good, solid work on it. And none of this takes the place of, therapy and medication, of course, but these are things to help you through daily life. So shadow work is really important, and you really have to face yourself. I find that a lot of people put blinders on and they just want to run through life experiencing things and not really sitting down. And one important component is to just be still and listen, because if you listen, then you can hear things that you can work on, and things that maybe need some attention, and things that you might have been avoiding. And it's not painful. It's not fun. There's a lot of crying. But if you can, and you know yourself that you're ready, please do so, because it is very well worth it. The other part, I mentioned community before. We're not alone on this planet. There's tons of people. So even if you're an introvert, I don't know if you work with deities, but if you work with deities, that's someone right there that, you can work with. You can light a candle. You can talk to them as a friend. You can also work with your ancestors. My ancestors are an interesting bunch. I have an ancestor altar up year round. I light candles. I talk to them like they're my best friend. I tell them all my stories. And sometimes, they smack me upside the head and it's just like, try doing this. So that is leading to knowing your inner voice. Some of us, are not comfortable using your inner voice or intuition. It does take practice. So if you have a daily spiritual practice, you already know this, but spend some quiet time. You don't need a lot. You just need 10 minutes, light a candle, stare into the flame, spend time with your deity, spend time with your ancestors, spend time looking at a picture of nature, whatever you're comfortable with. I want to validate whatever is comfortable for you is what's important, because that's what's going to work most. So spend time with them and they will be able to, help you with that. So let's see. And also as a positive pagan, I love the fact that I feel like we hold a safe space container. Just like we're in a safe space right now, we are validated. We are here. We're listened to and understood. I cannot wait to read all of your the things you've written. We have ritual. If we follow the wheel of the year, we have rituals that we can do. If we follow the moon, there are things we can set into place, set into motion. Even if you're journaling, that is an important action because you're doing something. So, the light switch won't go on. You will not be positive overnight, but it is careful steps that you can take to move towards getting that flow of energy and getting things done. So isn't that like a better feeling of accomplishing what you want in life? That's important to you because we're each unique individuals. So let's see. I think I've talked about everything. Let's see. Oh, and as positive pagans, we're also very mindful. We're not just barreling through life. I know there's days we are, but make sure you ground, center, protect yourself. I tend to forget that. Protect yourself, whether it be wearing protective jewelry, using Florida water, whatever makes you comfortable to use protection. I go like this, and I have immediate shields that are surrounding me because people are throwing a lot of negative energy out there. If you drive in traffic, you know what I'm talking about. So make sure you do that. And yes, please, by all means, meditate. I know a lot of people cannot stand meditating. You have monkey brain. I had the same thing, but to meditate is to be still and listen. It gives your body a break and it lets you be present. And so when you're present, you can dip into the present moment and just realize, get that perspective, realize things are not that bad. You can do some things. One action can help you feel better. And then you move through your day. And again, saying that with the caveat of some days you can't do it. Completely understand, acknowledge that. So in regards to my book, if you have read it, I hope you realize that this is me in book form. If you read anything, do the foreword and the introduction. And then the rest of it, I want you to dip into. Just if you need it, just randomly, because this is what I do with my books. Just tap into it, get a message for the day, give you a little positive movement in your life. And then that should be able to help you feel a little bit better in this world. And when you feel better, you radiate outwards and you affect your community and the people that you're around. Hopefully you have people in your life that you just feel better when you're around them. And then you can be that person as well. So, it looks like I talked over my little time. The next 10 minutes we'll be answering questions. So let me know if you have any questions. Happy to answer them if you feel like I forgot something or something you want me to discuss. Thank you so much, Anna. I appreciate that. Please do let me know what you think about the book. You can email me at positivepagan, real easy to remember, at gmail.com. And I have a website, lisawagoner.com. So feel free to reach out to me. I love hearing from people. So. Yes, thank you. 10 minutes on your lunch break. That is really important. I used to balk at meditation, but you can fit it in your day. It is very important to do so. Thank you so much, Maria. I appreciate that. Yes, I use the Celtic spirit too. I follow a Celtic spirituality. So yeah, that definitely has been an important part of my mornings. Do I recommend any gods or goddesses? That's a really personal thing. I personally work with Bridget and am devoted to her. So for me, she's very positive. She was, is the goddess of like meditation and not meditation, sorry, blacksmithing and poetry and all these things. And she's an action goddess. But yeah, no, it's whatever you feel comfortable with. Like even the goddesses that you consider dark, like Morrigan and Hecate, I have huge respect for them. If that's what you're comfortable working with, please do so, because it's just important to have that energy between you. Oh, Tess Whitehurst. Yeah, huge fan of hers. I'm going to be on Tess's podcast in July. So looking forward to that. She is also great. Fellow Llewellyn authors are the bomb. So what's the way to protect yourself when a partner is emitting negative almost constantly? Oh, yeah. No, I have lived through that. That is an excellent question. Shields up. Please practice shielding. That's really, really important. Ground, center, meditate. Stay hydrated. That's really important. People make fun of that, but seriously, hydration, again, the waterfall of positivity, that will help you feel better. And, spend some time in with your deities or in your spiritual practice and see if there are steps that you can take to make sure that you are happy. Put yourself first. That's really important because if you're not happy, you cannot help other people and you cannot, it'll be hard. when I say, get out of yourself and, your negative spiral, I try to reach out to other people. Things that I do, like I said, I feed the birds, but I also like text people. I'm really big on texting. I'm not a huge video phone person, but, or like FaceTime or whatever, but I will, send a message, send a text. I write letters, I will email. And so that gets me sort of out of my head and checking on other people. So definitely do that as well. And send energy towards your partner's way. You can definitely spend some time with a candle and send some energies that way. Thank you, Pamela. Yes. Hydration is important. That's in the book, Positive Meditative Area, but it's not all about my book. But the best thing you can do, start simply. Bookshelf, table, put a candle on it, and put items of nature, follow the 4 elements, something that represents earth, air, water, fire. That can get you started. It can be very simple, things that you already have around your home. So how do you begin a spiritual practice? Well, I think intention is important. So I hear that negative self-talk about the fraud. I get it. I do it myself. The negative head spiral. You can start a meditative practice simply with a candle. Just start it like that and see what you hear, because a lot of times our life is so busy. The TV's always on. We're always watching something. Just be quiet. Be still and listen. Just hear my voice in your head saying that, because so much can come in the silence. You will learn so much about yourself and other things if you just sit in the silence. And start with small things like 5 minutes. You don't have to do like a whole half hour. Start with 5 minutes each day, whatever part of the day is comfortable for you. Yes, I am a Pisces. Thank you so much. Appreciate that, Alicia. Yes, centering and meditation, said medication, are key. Center, ground, and shield always. Yeah. The bathtub, yes. Water, I am, like someone said, I am a Pisces, so I am really big on showers and baths. Think about the shower. It just moves negative energy away. Let everything just go down the drain. That will be great. Bathing is also good because you can set intentions during your bath time. So if you enjoy bathing, set your intentions at that point. Find what works for you and what is comfortable for you. Can shadow work help you through the loss of a loved one? Yes. Okay, that is a great question. I'm going to tell you right now, grief has no timetable. So be gentle with yourself. It doesn't necessarily go away. It will hit you like a wave. And you know this if you're grieving. Just be gentle. I've learned to just be gentle with myself and acknowledge it, because, you love that person, and that love, where's that love going to go now? So I send it back to them. I spend time thinking about that person and I send love to them. And that's a positive thing that you can do to move through your grief. But please, again, be gentle with yourself. And give yourself a hug. I think that's really important. We lose touch in this virtual world. So give yourself a hug, because, be your own best friend. Oh, yay. Thank you for joining, Llewellyn. Hey, Earl. Talk to you soon. Oh, yes, definitely. Knitting can be a meditation. What do I like to do? I like to write. And so I'll just write, without stopping. That's my meditation. So knitting, definitely, because you're doing something really cool and creating art. It's beautiful. Libra energy, also very good. What suggestions do you have for people who won't take action, just stuck like a statue? If you're referring to someone else, you can't make somebody else do something. You can model for them. That's the best thing you can do. I get it. It's very frustrating to watch someone that just will not do one thing. So you can model for them, and then you can, like I said, send them some energy. You can do something towards them. Set an intention to spend some time with them. See if they can go into nature. That sometimes really changes perspective. That is something you can do. So yeah. Walking meditations, huge fan of labyrinths. If you have a labyrinth in your area, labyrinthlocator.com, it can help you find a local labyrinth that you can walk. And it's just very meditative, because seriously, you just do one foot in front of the other and you can puzzle through whatever is bothering you, or you can just go blank. It's very grounding and centering. You ordered the book. Thank you so much, Heidi. Excellent ideas. They had doodling, running, painting, gardening, all kinds of really great stuff. So yeah. All right, so our last minute together. Any other questions, please let me know. And again, if you need to reach me, go to lisawagoner.com or positivepagan@gmail.com. I'm happy to answer any questions of anything I didn't cover. If you need help, if you need suggestions, I am always down for that. My blog on Pathos is called Which, Indeed. You can find me there. Hey, Mary Dean, thank you. Yeah. Anything else? Oh, swinging. Definitely a fan of swinging. Yes. Be a kid. Blow bubbles, stomp in puddles, be a kid, and enjoy yourself. Oh, thank you, Anne. That's so great. I'm glad I was part of your morning. Thank you all for being here. I'm so happy you were all here. I really enjoyed. Oh my gosh, this was so wonderful. Thank you for being part of this. If you bought the book, thank you. If you're buying it, thank you. I am just so excited you were spending part of your day with me. So I enjoyed this tremendously. Thank you for being part of this wonderful experience, and enjoy the rest of LlewellynCon 2022. I love this. This is so much fun. So I hope you get a lot out of it.